I'm asking, should Great Britain get behind Boris Johnson? I mean, thank God that Boris didn't cave to mainstream media and resign. I mean, they were pushing this Partygate narrative as though it was going out of business, as though nothing else mattered on earth. Some outlets even going to the deplorable depths of claiming a Zoom party as breaking news. I mean, can you imagine the position we'd be in now if we were trying to choose a new leader? Even as Ukrainian troops amassed in their tens of thousands, the British mainstream media were obsessed with this Partygate baloney. Yet it's not great. Yes, it's not great when a leader breaks the rules, but that is nothing next to the potential catastrophe the world is potentially facing in Ukraine. And alongside the spiralling cost of living and immigration, but even those things actually pale into insignificance when we look at what we're now facing. Boris spoke eloquently and with passion about Ukraine and condemns Russia. And even as he ended his speech, there was still talk of Partygate. And today, we now learn that Rishi Sunak, I mean, admittedly, it was on page 20 or something, but Rishi Sunak has also been handed a questionnaire to fill in about this infamous so-called party. And rumour has it that maybe he attended towards the end. This complete lynch mob mentality has to stop. And I'm afraid I have absolutely no interest in the findings of the Sue Gray inquiry. Her name has been supplanted by a far more formidable foe. So is it time we all got behind Boris Johnson in the wake of this current crisis and kicked Partygate to the curb and gave him a chance? Cometh the hour, cometh the man. So I'm asking, should Great Britain get behind Boris Johnson? And I'm joined by former Conservative MP Anne Widdecombe. Anne, thank you for joining me. What did you make of Boris Johnson's reaction to the Ukraine crisis?
Well, I think we need to see words followed by deeds. I don't often approve of anything Keir Starmer says, but when Boris announced initially a package of sanctions, I mean, Keir Starmer said, yes, fine, when? And what we've got to ensure is that we give a really tough, firm and unapologetic response to Russia. And we can only do that if everybody gets behind the Prime Minister. I mean, we're trying to avert a third world war.
I mean, it is completely frightening. How do you think his response, Boris's response, then, compared to other world leaders? I hear what you're saying, that, of course, he needs to show some actions and not just words. But how do you think his response compares to other world leaders like Macron and also like Joe Biden?
Well, I mean, I think he was the one who was pressing for the SWIFT system to be denied to Russia. But it was European countries that stopped that. And I think we can be suitably disgusted. But unless there is a united and very determined response, this man will not see any reason to stop. I mean, I think what Lawrence was saying earlier is quite right. When you actually look at the way we beam ourselves around the world, totally fixated on woke stuff and people's personal pronouns, even in MI5 and MI6. I mean, when you get that sort of stuff, then obviously they think we're not serious, and they do have an advantage now of, bluntly, I have to put it this bluntly, somebody who's pretty senile in the White House. So naturally, they think the West is weak. And at the moment, we're not showing the sort of strength which might convince them otherwise. Now, that's not a plea for boots on the ground, but it is a plea for all-out military aid. And we've got to be, I think, very conscious of the fact that if he does take Ukraine, it could well turn out like Hitler in Czechoslovakia. You know, his next step was Poland. We did nothing apart from talk and protest during Czechoslovakia. We then find ourselves finally forced to act. I understand why, everybody's first desire is peace. I understand that. But all the diplomacy in the world isn't going to stop Putin. He needs to be stopped by other means.
Well, Anne, thank you so much for joining me. That's Anne Widdecombe. She's the former Conservative MP and former Shadow Health Secretary. Thank you so much.